did bother me at all. I don't know, it had to do something with fire.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awful.
I thought they were off new. It didn't bother me at all. I don't know, it had to do something with fire.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awful.
I thought they were off new. It didn't bother me at all. I don't know, it had to do something with fire.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awful.
I thought they were off new. It didn't bother me at all. I don't know, it had to do something with fire.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awful.
I thought they were off new. It didn't bother me at all. I don't know, it had to do something with fire.
Yeah, probably. Oh, you guys can still hear us. We're live right now. I didn't know the mic was still on. Oh, that's awful.
I thought they were off new. It didn't bother me at all. I don't know, it had to do something with fire.
Yeah, probably. Oh, you guys can still hear us. We're live right now. Okay, so we're opening up the chute for the first time in almost 2 years. You're not in it. I know, but you're not in the shot. So we're trying to get him to go. Here we go. We had that one ran on the run. There he goes. This is great. I think he's a little suspicious. Like, what's going on? Where are you taking me? I'm gonna stop and smell the other ones. Here he goes. He's getting a little excited. Got a little trot. Here he goes. Oh. Whoa. What do you think, Oliver? Oh, there's food up here. I don't know. Got a whole extra pen now. Hey guys, it's Leah and Michelle from God's Little Acre, and we have a video ahead for you that you are gonna, I think, enjoy.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's fascinating. Yeah. You've always wanted to know how to make a pig bacon.
That's pretty much, everybody calls pigs bacon, right?
Bacon seeds.
Sausage, pork chops.
Ham.
So what we're going to do here on this intro is show you one of the final products, and then we want you to stick around to show how we actually got from hoof to bacon.
Bacon.
So instead of putting this on the end of the program, I'm going to show you bacon here at the beginning, and we are at the smoking stage of the bacon.
We're smoking, baby.
So I don't have a little metal smoker, so I'm going to show you guys how I make a little smoker. Alright, so this is what I do. I just grab 2 good sized pieces of foil. I don't really measure them out.
We use the large 18-inch foil. It's just more helpful. You can get this at a Sam's or a Costco.
So then I fold it in half.
There's 3 or 4 pieces there.
Roll it over. Well, there's 2 pieces here.
Okay.
And I'm just creating my own little smoker, and it's pretty simple and it works. And so we have some wood chips. Well, I don't know if they call them wood chips, but pieces of wood that I've been soaking for a while. So what I will do is I'll put these little soaked pieces of wood and whatever. I think we've got some maple and hickory in here. And I'll fill up my thing, my little pouch I just made with this wood. And I think, you know, some of it's a good size. Some of it's a little bit too big, but it'll work. And throw it in there. And I fill my little pouch all the way up. And then I fold it over. And then I will poke my little holes in it. So
just on the one side.
Yeah. So I'll just poke holes, random holes all the way around, some down the middle. So you make your own little smoker. It's actually well, whatever you call it, smoking container. So this is the bacon that we have
Left.
This is that we're still going to put in here. Okay, this is our bacon that we have. You can sit it down.
Cured
for 10 days in the refrigerator, and then you put, or in a cooler with some ice, and then we take it out and you let it sit in the refrigerator for 12 to 24 to 48 hours, and it creates like a sticky film, and it gets like hard, and then it sucks in the smoke better, and you get more like a smoky taste. Now, personally, the smoking is great. I know you don't have to do this, but I have a huge vial of liquid smoke. So I take some of this hickory liquid smoke with this, and we just actually dumped this before the last shot, so there's none left. But I'll put some of this liquid smoke on here before I put it on the grill. Now, what you want to do is you want to start your grill about 10 minutes ahead of time. You can turn on all the burners. This is smoking on a grill. Other people have smokers. I don't have a smoker. This is how I do it. And on this one side is where we're going to put our soaked wood chips. You soak them for about 30 minutes, and you want it. And I've actually been able to keep it right at 200, which is the kind of temperature that we like to keep it at. So it's been at 200 right now for about an hour and a half or 2 hours. So I want to show you guys how it's working in here. So we've got the smoker going here, and this is my little system. Okay, it just works. I think these ones are on a rack. It works. And because I like to maximize my space, so I just have this tray here and these here to kind of keep the weight back so it doesn't fall forward, so I can get as much bacon on here. This is like our 4th round on the grill, and we have a lot of bacon to do.
But right now we need smell-o-vision.
Right now you need the smell.
Tell them about the smell. It just smells wonderful.
And earthy. It does.
And because I like and bacony. So I want to shut this back up because I want to keep the temperature right around. The temperature's gonna have to go back up. But that shouldn't take too long. But I just have this one burner on. The burners are not on underneath the meat.
That's key.
Just on
because you're not trying to cook the meat.
Right.
You're just trying to get that smoke in there.
Right.
I mean, it does cook it a little bit.
Right. So you want to get it to 160. I mean, that's what I read online, so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to share with you.
The meat itself.
Yeah. So it's 3 or 4 hours at 200, and then we'll slice it up and fry it, or we'll put it in the freezer. We've got, oh my gosh,
we have so much bacon. So much bacon. We were having trouble with storing it in the refrigerator. For the cure period is 10 days, and we're going to talk about that later on in the video that you're not going to want to miss. It was supposed to be kind of short. Patriot Gallery edited it. I think it's well over an hour long, but you're going to love it. You're going to love every minute of coming here to God's Little Acre, Patriot Gallery. If you want to span around, you can farm on an acre. We do it, and we do it, I think, rather well. Down here, this shot right here is what you'll see in just a few moments, where we scalded and scraped, which is essentially taking all of the fur off of the pig. So you'll see that shot in just a few minutes.
And we can't wait till things gearing up around here.
It hung on the tree. I was going over to the tree.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody!
It's like It's early in the morning.
It is not.
It's early in the morning.
It's about 12 o'clock.
Mom, in the morning. We have had a time of it. This is our second pig. But we're going to show you how it's supposed to be done.
The other one was just too big.
She was just too big, and Michelle and I are not
Matt.
equal to one Matt. That's just it.
We tried.
He's just too...
If there was 2 of him and none of us, we'd be fine.
Yeah, so we had a time of it. Getting her down here, but we did. Mom actually came to help
Patriot
us
Gallery.
to dunk. So Kansas built this machine. It's awesome. It's a dunker.
It's a scolder.
It's a scolder. Well, it's a dunker. It's a scolder.
Okay,
This is our fun ladder. You just
Hi,
teeter
Kansas.
totter.
Yeah, it's a teeter. Should tell them how it works.
Well, it's like a teeter totter, and they go in, and you flip them back out and scrape them.
So we're gonna do one side, and then we're gonna do the other side. So
these are cooney pigs, and why do we scald, Michelle?
There's you could
Hot
skin them.
water causes the hair to fall off easy.
Right.
Just scrape off.
And some people skin, but we find it more sanitary, actually, even though it's like doesn't look like it's sanitary. But
It's very sanitary.
like boiling water, man. Our temperature, we try to get it between 165 and 180. We found that that's our go-to numbers, and that's not real easy because you don't have like a
Leaning heavier on the 180 side.
you don't have a dial to turn it up and down. So like our fire went out after the first pig, so we had to rebuild it up, and then the fire was too hot, so we had to let it go down. So that's the fun part. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll this chica down to the...
You have one man holding this contraption.
Well, manning it because
Yeah, and
Matt
then,
does all the work here.
and then we also need to hold the tank.
Are you feeding? You need to come my way?
Nope, I need to, yeah, one, 2 feet, 1 foot.
You got him in?
Yeah, I got 2 feet.
Okay.
2 feet.
Hold
All
the
right,
tank.
we're ready.
Okay, holding the tank. Come on, sister.
There we go.
There she goes.
All right, now.
Ooh.
I wish that we could tell you that we have an exact science for how long we leave her in there. It's a gut thing. It's like one of those old recipes where the grandma can't ever give it to you.
Yep.
And we do use a shovel to kind of get the hot water a little bit higher up. And then when one of us says, all right, we think it's about time, then we pop it out. There's no science behind this.
And the last pig didn't really fit.
Yeah, she barely fit.
I wouldn't say she did.
She plopped
did
in
not
and then
fit.
the water went everywhere. No, she actually went in.
Well, not the hooves.
We used to save the heads.
But we do cook the heads when they're not bigger than the oven.
Then the heads, the other pig's head was this big around, literally compared to my head. It was this huge.
But the chickens can eat that.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to try to work with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of labor involved.
Yeah. Well, you have to scrape it first. You
gotta
know,
scrape the
Leah's
head.
worked hard over the years doing that.
We decided we're going to do 2 pigs, we're not cleaning the heads.
Right. We're just not going to do it.
But we have gone inside and eaten just head meat for dinner. So don't think that we do waste.
It just crumbles apart like pulled pork, like a sandwich.
Very tasty, actually.
Yeah.
I bet that's about good.
Okay, guys.
So, Kansas got to get his fulcrum thingy back on the thingy.
Shake, shake.
There you go.
Twist,
It's on.
twist.
We're ready. Yeah.
Okay, she's out. And we're off to the races. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
We got to get her to the side where she was in the water. Was this side in the water?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, if you want to start scraping,
Okay. Here's my
I'll
bell.
hold it down.
Where's my bell?
Michelle, my bell. You just got to get it going and baby, woo!
I can't
Bam.
find my bell. I had it just right there. Here it is. All right. These are literally designed just
They're
for
called bell scrapers.
this.
They go around. Oh, she's trying to be awesome. Well, she's trying to show you how awesome she is. Trying to turn it into a competition.
Comes off faster when it's hot, so you don't want to linger too long, but you don't want to worry about it too much either.
She's making it into competition, folks. gonna.
And these pigs are hairier than most.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other
definitely are.
breeds that aren't this hairy, so they're a lot easier. But they might be heavier, so
The problem is the smoke. The
Yeah.
smoke will get you.
I call it steam, actually, right?
For me, it's a smoke.
Steam coming up. The witch's brew.
Mom, can they see it?
Yeah.
It's kind of smoky.
Sometimes you get in shadow, so it's no good.
Right. But what about this? Can they see it through the smoke?
They can see the smoke and they can see the pig. There's this light here. So no, there's smoke here.
And then sometimes it's weird. You'll get these tough spots.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with temperature. They just want to stick.
They just want to
Yeah.
stick. Yeah, people be like, dude made the girls do all the bells.
Well, no, but he's got to sit there. He's the heaviest.
it's finally close enough I can reach it.
There's so much fur. When we do these, we try not to do them in the summer because it's better for the meat, no flies, for it to hang out overnight. But when you do it in the winter, their fur, they've got their winter coat, just like a horse or a dog or any outdoor animal. There's just a lot more fur to take off.
But we really like working with the scalded pig carcass because it just feels so much cleaner.
It does.
And like it's when it's like hanging out outside, the meat's just not. I mean, I guess it is exposed, but
It's interesting because we're taking off not just a layer of hair. There's a thin layer of skin
yeah,
that's on top of the thick skin
yeah,
that we're getting off.
yeah.
And it's just amazing to me how it just comes off.
This patch is kind of stuck.
We might have to redunk on
Yeah.
that side. We'll see.
This bell's coming loose.
I know. I meant to say something. Roll her this way, then we would roll her. She's gonna roll back in the same
We didn't
spot.
roll her. We scooted her.
We did? Okay.
Yeah. We do one more roll.
She's
Well, if you
We're gonna
get
have to
there,
kinda
if
turn
you
it.
get there and she needs to flip, then you just keep spinning her a little bit.
okay. Here.
Just-
Can you go this way with me?
Because
The other way.
going.
The other way.
If
Yeah.
you keep going, then the legs will
Roll
be
her,
up in the
and
air.
then we'll have to just kind of pull it, like like this, and then we need to pull her again.
Yeah, just pull the legs up.
Yeah, just make it easy. Just pull the legs up. Candace, you do it. There it is. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Okay, we're ready.
We're ready. Now switch it. You got it?
Oh gosh, there she goes.
Okay, we're ready. There it is. Woo! That's a pink pig. Okay. Got one side done.
No, those trouters aren't going anymore.
Mostly done. Yeah, he's not. It doesn't go in there.
Well, they were already in the last time.
Okay. We're probably going to leave that in a little bit longer. We would have lost a little bit of temperature the last 2 times she went in. So
See pretty good.
from there,
Yeah.
okay, but we're going to pull it out.
Okay, but now you can see how it fits in the tub, and it's an old oil tank. An
Propane.
old oil tank.
Is it oil or propane?
Oil. Watch it.
Oil mixture. Okay. All right.
Oil tank.
Let's put it down, Leah. Bring it this way.
Propane tanks were taller, like
Woo, baby! Now we're cooking with oil tank. Yes, Lord. This is how we do it. Scraping, doo-doo-doo. Well, that's because we're Christians now.
It's New Testament,
We're allowed
I
to eat
guess.
the pigs.
Scrape with a knife, but I can't get off of this thing.
I'm going to give it to you in a minute once I get this off here.
There's something extremely satisfying about doing a good scald, and it's great when it comes off like that. And just beautiful, actually. Like birds singing. Just kidding. Sorry, go ahead.
If we get too close, we'll dull our scrapers.
My least favorite part, the legs. No fun. Even
The
if you
legs
get a
take
good
the
pull.
longest. It's about the angle. I've often wondered if they don't make any smaller, like mini bells, to
They
get in
do,
there.
I think.
I would invest in those if I had them.
Switch me. Unless you want to go. Here you go. I'll hold it.
Well,
hold it.
skin's
I
all
won't hold it.
folding over.
I know, and her skin folds over.
Yeah, it's not a very good angle over
Corner
here.
fat.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a weird angle.
You want to go fast because while it's hot, it's that loud.
Good. Finish what you're saying.
That's it. It's you want to. That's the speed. Or remember the first time you guys you've heard us
comes
talk
up-
about the Richardsons.
It comes off easy when it's hot, and once it cools off,
They would work
slow
so
going.
fast. They're a million times faster at this than we are.
A million.
Okay.
when it's
fine.
hot, it's coming off in sheets, but after that,
No, I really meant
it's
a million.
slow going. So yeah, if you work fast, you get it done, you can move on to something else.
And we are going to move on to something else here shortly.
I think what's important is this is a lot of work, and it takes
Bring it back up.
some time.
Well, here
But it's not like you do this every day.
No, it's not. It's usually once a year.
As a farmer, there's always something different you're doing, and so they'll work on this and have this done today.
Right.
Work on it tomorrow, and then you'll have ham for 6 months, and you won't do
Right.
it again for like 6 months.
It's also
A
a, lot
year.
of work.
A
to
year.
commute, go to a job, sit at a cubicle, talk to people on the phone, or whatever your job is.
Right.
And then you have to go to the restaurant, and you have to, you know, possibly get reservations, and then, you know, you have to tell them what you want.
We don't eat anywhere that requires.
And things could get
We did
lost
once.
in translation between you and the chef. You know, why not just cook it up yourself?
Exactly.
Just butcher it and eat it. It's a lot
I like
easier
that.
way.
I like that you cut out the office work too.
I'm just saying people might avoid it and say it's too much work, but it's only
No.
one or twice
Once a year, usually for us.
And
it's
so
once
what
a year.
Kansas was saying is
You know
that
you're gonna like it if you're the one that cooked it, right?
Yeah, and grew it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know exactly what went into it.
how many office hours is 2 pigs worth of, or 2
right.
pigs worth of meat?
Like you go to a restaurant, you get a little tiny portion of meat and maybe some, you know, little
Kansas
sides,
You can have
like
as
some
much
green
meat
beans
as
or
you
some
want.
peas and some
Right.
corn. And they try to make it look really special on your plate or whatever, but there's not like a ton of food.
So what we're gonna do next is the last thing we do before we go to eviscerate, which is opening it up in what you guys would call gutting, is we will run the propane torch over any remaining hairs that we missed, because of course we're gonna miss them.
Matt, you need me to sit down while you get your propane?
Oh yeah. There you go.
Lights.
So as according to work goes, you know, people spend hours at the gym,
Yeah. This does it.
and you're still working your muscles. So you may as well get something out of it.
I think that
Food.
all the time.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
All the time.
There's underarm hairs.
That's right.
They're the hardest ones to get off.
Oh, and guys, it's not always easy to do this emotionally. It actually, I've never broken down. I've never
I
cried.
have.
I always thought I was going to cry. I don't know how many times we've done this. But this time, I lost it because I've connected with a lot of my piglets, but I end up selling them, so I don't become super connected. But my one piglet I became really connected with was Gracie, so much so that I could go out there and all I had to do was start singing and she would lay on her belly. And she got to the place where she wasn't really interested in food. I mean, she's a pig, she'll eat. But like,
Dude, she's got enough meat on her she could survive for 4 weeks
when I
without
came
eating.
in the morning, she would like ignore the food and just come to me and stand next to me and lean next to me. And she would do this when I would pet her. And she just wanted her belly rub. And I could just sit with her for hours. She just loved to be loved. And so, why did we have to butcher Gracie? Because she was a breeder. Well, we think, we're pretty sure, she turned on some of the piglets after they were a certain age.
One.
No, 2. Remember?
Well, yeah.
Really. And we can't keep killer pigs. And she raised out 2 litters really great.
Could have been this pig too.
They were
Possibly.
together.
It could have been this pig, but because we didn't know, we couldn't take the chance. So, we want to start again. We're going to start fresh with some new sows and a new boar. And our boar was fantastic. Not a mean bone in his body. I would put babies in with Malachi. He was just so good. But he tore his ACL, and we had the vet out a couple times and seemed to help with some medicine, but could never get back up to being the man that he once was. He was a good shooter. Malachi could shoot him, dude. And what do I mean by shooting? Well, a pig can be bred several times, and you get a lot of piglets that way. And we would get monster litters. How many would we get sometimes? 13, 14, 15 sometimes. Some would die, but coonies are only known. Unfortunately, see, when you look at these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is what made Susie such a good mom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She had 6 on either side. Coonies sometimes have less than that, and you really can't have more piglets.
Then you have teats.
And so actually, we didn't want these large litters, but he was part Cooney, part
American guinea hog.
American guinea hogs, and they have more teats. So for more bigger litters, you can have like maybe 5 or 6 in a Cooney litter, tops. So our litters were almost too big actually at times. We had to kind of make sure that everybody got food.
Watch it, Michelle. She's bleeding as we.
I see that. She will keep doing that too.
I guess my car rides are going to get cleaned down.
Yeah, they need to be washed.
Ready? 1, 2. Oh gosh! Whoops! That was
I'll hold this.
You want to just roll her?
yeah. Let's roll her.
Yeah. Well, how do we move it back?
I'll see if I can just.
Here.
He's got the thing.
Did you record that?
Everybody okay?
Did you get that on film?
Probably. Well, no, you got sounds.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, it's ice.
Okay. I'm recording right now.
I just slip this thing from the time. Oh, muscle power. Assemble this thing together.
It's hard when they're a pig and not a deer because the legs don't. These are designed for deer, and the legs don't want to spread. It's easy.
But you start watching this.
Here, somebody's gonna pull that. Matt and I were worried because this one doesn't go down below.
Whoa, there she blows. There it is. Yes. That.
basically you're just disconnecting the plumbing from the back end so that all the guts and everything will come out. You just, you know, go around here, and then we just kind of slice a little bit down the middle, and you cut through the hip region, and then later on you'll have to go through the chest down below, and obviously there's a bunch of ribs in between, but start out here.
We're gonna have to raise her up, but he's just
We
getting
kind
the
of just,
butthole.
yeah,
while
just
he
kind of go easy does it, and you can just see where the skin, the, you know, the fat layer, and then there's the muscle layer, and there's a bone in here that we're looking for, but right here we're above all the guts and everything, but once you get in here, you're so close up. I'm not sure they can see it.
Back it up, Leah.
No,
There we
that's
go.
light. The light was.
No, I know, but he was pointing. There you go.
But yeah, like the bladders that run in here, a lot of people, they take them off of feed and water for like a day or something ahead of time. Then you don't have to
We're
worry
bleeding
about it.
hearts.
But, you know, we don't do that, so, I mean, we're not selling this. You know, this doesn't have to be a perfect cut. So we go around the bladder, and then later on, once it's open, then we find it and we get it out, hopefully without it breaking.
Exactly.
But
We've got our bucket here from our other pig that has the heart and leaf lard and kidneys and livers in here, and we're gonna salvage as much of that as we can.
Sorry, Matt. I'm so sorry.
It's a very fatty job. Watch out for that bladder, it'll be right up in there.
water going to the sides, so it should make it easier.
This is bacon. We're going right through layers of bacon here. Did you want to saw this?
Yep.
Am now.
Okay, so Candace, what are you cutting through?
It's basically the hip,
Like a pelvic
pelvis,
bone, hip,
yeah.
whatever.
whatever you want to call it. So we cut through that,
Well,
and then
too deep in there. Yeah.
and most of the plumbing's down here. Since we disconnected it up here, there's not a whole lot going on. So you can trim that, cut that bone, and then, like we said, if you hit something, it's not the end of the world. You just hit with a hose or something, but we just try to kind of easy does it through.
Easy does it is right.
Just kind of try to get you.
Whoa, what do you got there? Wait, don't go, don't go, don't go. What's that
Just-
balloon? Okay,
It's just
there you go.
untested.
All right. I worry about the bladder. It's my least favorite thing to burst. Honestly, the intestines
said- like I
don't
s-
bother me as much as the bursting the bladder.
Like we said, you know, Jesus went, 40 days in the wilderness. So, we can, if you want to, you can just take them off of the food and water a little bit beforehand.
I
You
like
don't have
them
to
to
worry
have their
about as
last
much.
meal.
But yeah, this knife, if this tip were to hit these, then it would get kind of stinky and yucky. But they do have knives that protect this better, so you don't have to worry
I think
about
we're
it.
about there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna need Candace's light though, because I can't see. So Leah, can you get in here real quick? What you're looking at right here is the bladder. We're gonna try to keep that intact and not bust it. Meanwhile, we're gonna get all this other stuff out and try to salvage my leaf lard and some of my other things that I like to get, the liver and so on and so forth. So I like to bust up. I can feel it with my hands. Some of this, these membranes.
How is-
Yeah, there's the skin, a fat layer, there's a muscle layer, and then there's kind of a membrane that separates the innards from, you know, everything else. You got to cut through that, and it kind of releases it all to fall out.
I can tell you right now, I can feel the leaf lard in my hand. I know what it feels like. I don't even have to see it. It's very webby.
It's stringy.
You see that? We want that, and it's usually around the kidneys and the livers. It says the primo de primo of the lard that we save, and I have to be quick about it because it's interesting because it'll melt in my hand. There. And then right around there, I know I'm going to be close to getting my, there they are.
So what's this like compared to doing a chicken?
Much different. But at the same time,
You just pulled out a liver.
They're similar, but
You didn't tell anybody you were pulling out a
I'm
liver?
not sure that that's a liver because the livers are much bigger than that.
Okay,
in
maybe
a
that was a
pig.
spleen. I don't know.
gallbladder, I don't know what it is.
We eat it. Well, we dry it and we give it to the dogs or something usually. But yeah, we'll pull out the, you'll see the livers. They're gigantic, just like a cow's. So here in a second, I'm going to show you the stomach.
That's not sound effects.
It's that's just what it sounds like. Getting close to the stomach.
Oh,
You
what?
guys get your hands in there and just kind of
I got more
ease it
leaf lard
back
here.
from the back of the carcass, and it'll just kind of fall out.
Right. And there's a stomach in here we're gonna get out in a second. Sorry, I'm still salvaging my leaf. And then also, there's a line of plumbing that we'll get to in a second. It's all connected. So here's the stomach. This big giant balloon here. We're gonna get that out. Come on, Bessie. What I'm doing is it's connected with membranes, okay? So I'm just kind of muscling.
And again,
Takes
if
muscle.
they're off
Here
a
we go.
feed,
Here's some.
that's going to be deflated most likely, and it's just going
This
to
is
be
another one of those other.
a little
I'm not really
nothing.
sure what that is, honestly. There's two of them.
Gotta be a spleen or
It's
something.
got to be. Well, there's two.
It looks
of them.
important. I'll eat it.
It looks important.
We've come
We're
this
gonna
far, I might as well eat it.
All right. The reason why I'm not pulling
Liver, the
too
heart.
hard is, see this line of plumbing goes all the way to the butthole, and I don't want to sever it, so I'm trying to be real careful with getting this stomach out and disconnecting.
And old-fashioned people take these intestines and they clean them out and then make sausage with them.
We're not that awesome. I'm sorry, guys.
And that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Still disconnecting. It'll come.
Making a little sausage patty. That's not the end of the world for
I can
me.
feel the livers in there too.
Well, thank God, with the advent of like ice houses or things like that, but if you're like in a southern climate, you would need to keep the casings so
You
that
would,
you can
yeah, for
make
sure.
sausages, because it's kind of like fermented meat. That's how they preserved it.
Come on. Here we go.
It's like a big baby.
I'm getting there. I'm getting somewhere. And we'll still leave that line connected. Here's our livers. They're big. Big, big, big. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Here they are.
You
I
need to
usually
cut
just rip
them.
them off. No. Well, we might end up cutting them. Kansas got a knife there. Okay, so that's big. See all that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna save that. Now, there's a couple other things in here we're gonna save too. Once we get the esophagus out.
Then we can get rid of the whole digestive tract.
Yeah,
The whole system's gone.
that's coming from straight from the mouth.
Yeah, so it's looking a lot emptier in there.
It is looking a lot emptier. Now, we're gonna be really careful about this next bit here. We're gonna get in here, I like to use my hands because then I'm not using a knife to cut, to puncture. We're gonna get that butthole. Oh, Kansas, we need to get that saw in there and get a little bit more.
Watch Michelle's fingers.
I'm not worried about fingers, I'm worried about the bladder. All right, now I can get in there with my fingers and I can feel that
And you
plumbing
just
hole.
slip it down and then
That's
it'll
why
come out.
Kansas cut it. There it is. All right, are you ready? Now, again, I'm still detaching as I go. And I'm gonna get that whole bladder without, there's some more leaf lard we could steal. Without puncturing it. Come on, Bessie. Want this. And we want this. There we go. Okay, now this I can save. And there's a kidney right there. Ugh. And then there's always leaf lard around the kidney, so I'm going to save all of that. See that kidney bean in there? That's a nice looking kidney. Save that leaf lard around there. I want to show you the bladder on here, if I can find it. Well, it must have fallen down in there, because I know we got it out. So, here's another kidney. There is that. The kidney's still in there. Now, we have to get the lungs out. Leah, can you come in here? Can they see this? Mm-hmm. See that? That's the lungs are going to be below that membrane.
And the heart's down there.
And the
too.
heart, yeah. Disconnect.
So you just break that open, and then it is similar to chickens. I mean, like bigger. I mean, you pull the lungs out.
Okay, we got one. Whew. It's very lightweight.
And it's really spongy and weird.
It's very lightweight, yeah.
A lot of people say don't feed it to like chickens or other animals because they'll choke on it.
Right. One more here. Coming out. And then the esophagus is usually attached to one of them. There it is. See that? Okay. Now, or trachea, whatever you want to call it. Now we're going to get our heart out. And I feel like Last of the Mohicans every time I pull out a heart. There it is. Okay. That's the heart. Right there. So now, there's one last thing we need to do. Is we've got to finish. Oh, it's so heavy. We got to finish cutting this pig, and then we're gonna rinse it. Now this is a job only for Kansas because it's a difficult one. So I told Leah I was actually looking forward to this job. A, I like it. I like doing it. But B,
It's
nice
below
and warm in there.
freezing. Everything's frozen. I'm cold.
Leah's hands are freezing and mine are
No,
hot
I
now.
put on gloves. I'm okay
Some
now.
people, obviously, they cheat and get a metal cutting blade on a reciprocating saw and just like buzz straight through this. in
Not
like 2
this Kansas
seconds.
cowboy.
Why would you do that? You wanted the workout.
Might help our saws a little bit longer.
I want them to see from this angle where I'm standing what this looks like. Now tomorrow, this is gonna look a lot different. See how juicy it is? I guess I shouldn't use that word, but wet looking. This will all have set up by then. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna, just for our neighbors, we'll cover these in some sheets. So we don't have to drive by and see two carcasses hanging here. It's a really cool thing to see halves here, and then we'll show you guys tomorrow how to turn this into pork chops and sausage, bacon, and not just a carcass.
What are you doing?
Leah wanted me to show you guys these tendons here, that they are so strong that no matter how heavy the pig is, their back tendons will hold them hanging in the air. It's some sort of weird God's nature thing. I don't even understand it, but this is so incredibly strong. All right, hey guys, we are getting ready to take these girls off of the hoists, and we're gonna take them into the garage because the sun is shining and we don't want them out here getting...
It got super cold last night, but
it was freezing, like our bridge was frozen. But today it's gonna get to be like 60. So
the filmographer is going to like stop filming now so she can
help
guide.
Is it going? All right, so here we are in the kitchen. This is our fourth half, all right? We've already done one full pig and the other half of this one, and we thought now we'll come to you now that we've worked out our kinks, and show you, I guess I should say, as we cut up half of a pig. Leah?
We are not going to show you how, this is not a how to butcher a pig, it's how we butcher pigs.
That's really good.
Okay? We have kuni kunis. They're not like your average, they're a lard pig, but as you can see, this is our other, the pig we had before, that's the fat layer. The pig we did before this was probably had about 80 pounds on her.
More than this pig.
She was this big and like the whole table. So this is small compared to Gracie, who I miss dearly.
This is a really good picture, actually.
But okay, so let me just take you through a few steps, and then Michelle's going to show you a few steps. This right here, this is some inner leaf lard here. You can most of the time get your fingers in there, and
look at that beautiful meat in there.
One of our viewers has given me these gloves. It's called Level 5. You're not supposed to cut yourself with it. It's fantastic. So I should have worn them right when I began when I cut myself.
Because the chain link they use with sword fighting.
Kind of, I think it's supposed to be similar to that, yeah.
But this
Kevlar
comes out usually just by tearing. And I guess we have some meat here. But,
that'll go in the sausage pile.
and this is gonna be some leaf lardage, you could say.
What do you do with it?
We'll use this, we'll render it, which means we'll heat it till it melts,
pieces.
and we'll cut it into pieces, and then we will use it for baking pies and bread and anything that you would use a fat for. We don't use Crisco. That stuff's disgusting. Ooh. It's plastic. So anything that a recipe would call for Crisco.
They lied to you when they said lard was bad for you.
They lied to you. It's actually really healthy for you, especially if you're on grass-fed animals, whether it's a sheep or a pig or beef.
Right, right. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Kansas in a second, but let's have Michelle do the trotters. They call them trotters. You can keep these if you clean them really, really well, which we did not, and you get the toenails off, which we did not. One fell off, you can see. And people make pickled pig feet, and they make a really good gelatin. Michelle's going to try to show you where the joint is,
right here,
and
feel for that.
how she's going to disconnect that. And why we do that is because right above it is something that we really want.
The ham hocks.
And we are going to dry cure the ham hocks. Some people do it with the skin on. We do all of our bacon and all of our ham hocks without the skin. We just found that we like it better that way.
Michelle, remember we're on TV.
Oh, smile.
No blood.
No blood. Yeah, we're not gonna
From
cut.
your-
We're not.
yeah, don't cut yourself.
That's not gonna happen.
So you're gonna get through the tendons. There's
the
several
skin.
tendons.
I like to just feel around, and you can kind of hear it tearing. You know, you're onto something when you can hear the tearing of that. You remember that ligament that we showed you that Kansas, the whole thing, right? So I obviously cut through that further on up here. So the goal when you're cutting off or cutting through any joint, whether it's a chicken or a pig or beef or whatever, you're going for the joint where it actually moves, okay? And then you're going to cut.
The back one is 20 times harder than the front one. Mom, if you come over here, just while Michelle's doing that.
Oh, I'm almost done.
If you got it, girl, good.
Well, we went to the end of the story that Michelle does this without hurting herself.
Wow, Mom, thank you.
Well, Leah has a cast iron, whatever, glove on.
The Kevlar thing.
Yeah.
I don't like to use that.
Well, you don't cut yourself as much as I do.
I don't know. I cut.
Well, actually, you do,
I did
girlfriend. I haven't
recently.
had stitches. Praise the Lord, hallelujah.
Sometimes you can just. Mine's not gonna.
You could get probably Kansas would be able to do it.
Yeah. Well, and then sometimes we get the loppers. Literally, the garden
Yeah.
loppers. We sanitize them.
Well, you're going to see the garden loppers in action in a second.
See that ligament there? Can you see how strong that is? Like it's so big. I'm just feeling around with my finger without the knife in there. This is, in my opinion, one of the more difficult jobs that we do.
You could just bring the loppers over.
Yeah, probably. So what you're trying to do is get all the ligaments, and then it's supposed to come once you've got them. Kansas did a couple of them earlier too.
And then sometimes you have to like smack it, and you got to be strong.
Yeah, we watched a video of a guy once where he just there we go. Just kind of used his brute force of it with his, like, he must have had a really strong knife.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how, like, do you see how long it took her to do that? The front one is nowhere near. I just went around in a circle. It's nowhere near as difficult at all. Sometimes you can just, sometimes you can twist it off.
It's always hanging on by like one tiny little ligament that you can't see.
This isn't probably the knife.
Why don't you show us the loppers you got behind us? The lopper you got behind you.
Well, we're going to show you
We're
the
going to
loppers
show you the
in a
loppers
minute.
in a second.
That's it right there.
There we go. There we go. We're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with gas. And the trotter now
The guy in the video said it in a British accent.
has been properly disconnected. Speaking trotter, come with
It's
me.
skin that you're connected with. I think.
Come here, trotter. It is something. No, it's properly disconnected. So there we go. There we go.
Okay, now Kansas, you want to come in here and cut these ribs with the loppers?
Well, not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet on the ribs. That's our. So actually, while we have this, the next step we normally do is to get some of these. Do we have our bucket?
What do you want it? What do you want it? Oh,
Yeah. So
Flank
this
steak.
is our flank steak. Before we get to the ribs and we cut this, this is these things on a kuni.
this is prime, flanky,
And you can usually use your fingers to peel them back.
Like, have you guys ever tried to buy flank steak at the store? It's expensive.
And these grill
Like steak.
like a steak, like a beef steak. Now, if you just let me use the knife maybe at this point.
No, we're getting it.
Okay.
We're getting it. Whoop.
Too many fingers.
Yeah, well, better fingers than eyes, right?
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Again, watching that one guy do the video on the other, like, the standard hog, this went a lot,
Maybe let me cut this
Different.
tendon.
yeah, you can cut the tendon. I don't even know if it's a tendon or what
Or
it is.
whatever.
But it's underneath this, you can see it.
We're bringing out a little bit more than we wanted to.
That's okay. But it's so thick. Oh my gosh, this is like such a thick flank steak. Now maybe let's
me
cut
cut-
along that right
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And then we'll pull it off.
So here's one.
Look at that, look at it, look at it.
Wait, we're not getting it in yet.
Wait. Can you see it now?
Let me see it.
All right. Did you peel it? You didn't peel it. Wait. You're peeling from the wrong side.
Peel it from the wrong side.
Peeling from the wrong side.
Okay. Like I said, we're not professionals. We've only done this like 500 times. We're still not professionals.
And our labeling system is
It lets you know whether you can grill something
Oh,
or
look
not.
at that, look at
'Cause
that.
If it's too fatty, you
look
can't
at
grill it.
that. Look at it. Oh man, it's beautiful.
Right. So
Beautiful.
there's more to come. There's a little bit more under here, little ones.
But they're under these ribs.
Yeah. So there's little pieces here. All right.
All right.
So at this point, we could take off the ham hocks, but why don't we go ahead and have Kansas come in and do her in half here in the spine, and then we're gonna take the ribs off. So this is the hard side. You're gonna have go ahead.
How
I'll be
far
out of your way.
over?
That's good, right where the ribs are, be perfect. Some people use this saw, but like this
It's
works.
personal preference. You
better.
can saw through it, you can clip through it.
We feel like this works better for us. So we're gonna.
And we're eating it ourselves, so we're
Yeah.
not trying to sell it, you know, it all tastes good,
It don't taste good.
even if the cuts aren't
Even if
perfect
the
at
table
times.
squash. So I'm gonna just make the cut because this is what the guy did on YouTube,
It's easier to work with it once it's in half. There you go.
and that is so helpful when somebody.
See how
peels
he's
it
pulling
back.
that back? There it is.
Okay,
All right.
so we just
Pull
kind
this down.
of pull that to the
What's your
side.
show them the bacon? This is what it looks like. This will be bacon
Yeah.
right in there.
That might be some sausage or flank steak. All right, so the next thing,
Does Kansas need to stand over there on your side?
let me just show them here. So right here is where you want to get your knife under here, and you want to just start to loosen the ribs from the rest of the body.
Where did it go bad? Do we need to backtrack?
Oh, you're fine.
No, I think
You're fine,
it was
go
about
ahead.
done.
All right, so what I'm gonna have Kansas do is he's gonna cut these. Like I said, you can saw them, but he's gonna cut them.
Face it this way.
Yeah. Lop them.
Each rib then.
Each
Yeah.
rib, yeah. It's not a beautiful process, but it is when you eat them.
It's a beautiful process when you eat them. That's right.
Like we said, this is personal preference. It's, you know, whatever you choose to do. As far as
Yeah.
just
the
snipping them
saw.
off, cutting
One
them.
more, Kansas.
One more right here, buddy. There he goes. All right, so I'm just gonna bring my knife back over, and there's your ribs. Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy.
That wasn't hard.
No, I love it.
Now, for storage purposes, though, we always cut them in half so that I
Boom,
can
baby.
wrap them up.
You gotta break that. Oh, there's a lot of cracking that goes on in this show. With this kind of, see whether you're through or whether you're not through. Or you can
You just got the loppers right there.
crack me. Boom.
When in doubt.
Boom.
And then Michelle is doing the wrapping.
Wrapping.
Now the ribs are the hardest thing to wrap, honestly, and truly, because it's kind of, you ever had that one Christmas present that the kid asks for, and it's really difficult to wrap up. So I always end up using 2 pieces, and I'll tell you what, with
What kind of paper is that called?
this is butcher paper. With the ribs from Gracie, the larger pig, this is the smaller pig, I ended up having to use like 4 pieces of paper. I just flip it back over because I think that looks best. I like to, and you'll see this when I wrap up other things, I do it on an angle. Okay, I think that I like to make it as smooth as possible.
Just regular old masking tape?
Yep. Although I think we probably bought this on Amazon just for butchering. Truly.
Doesn't make it look nice and neat.
It does. It really does.
And stores well.
And it does really store well.
You don't get freezer burn or anything.
No. Well, we eat it fast enough, but yeah, we haven't had any issues with that. And then what I like to do is with everything that I'm keeping a list and a tally. We splurged on the scale here. So 2 pounds, 4 ounces. And then I'm just keeping a tab here. This is my real system. And then I've got that 4 ounces. I just kind of put a little line there. And then I just write on here ribs. And then my coding for it is S for Susie, the pig that we have. March 3rd, 2021. 2.4, terrible handwriting. And then it'll go down into the freezer.
So we have a picture, Michelle took a picture of, come back here, of this loin that's on this back here on the other pig. It was monstrous. It was 3 times this size. But I'm going to cut this meat out of around the back here. And I'm not perfect at this, by the way, because there's a bone there. So sometimes I don't get it all. But you do what you can, right?
And this is redder meat because it's a
Kuni.
Tastes more like beef
It tastes more like
than
beef.
pork.
And so this is kind of a pork loin here. This one's really fatty. It's really tasty. But like I said, Gracie was like, how much bigger did you guys think this was?
Yeah.
It was huge. Absolutely huge. We couldn't, oh my gosh, it was so huge. So we're going to be dealing with this backbone here. Okay? Now, backbone, the bones, when you're dealing with this twin pigs, it's like, you just, like when your knife goes and it starts to cut, keep cutting, right? You kind of get a feel for it, except for like under here, I'm cut through these really good pork choppy things. So like, you're going to see all my mistakes and be like, oh, get a real butcher, girl. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm free. But no,
That's the way we eat our food.
we like, and
Now
how
that's
will
a
you-
real pork loin right there.
And how will you learn unless you try? And what better to try on your own,
And
right?
get experience.
Right? So,
If your mother had done this, you'd be automatically knowing how to just raise
yeah,
this way.
I can't even tell you how many like
It's easier to learn
hours
this stuff as children.
of YouTube we watch. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. That's not what the big. Oh my gosh, the butcher guys like online.
Do
They're
you want
all
Matt
good.
to help you with that?
Yeah, why not?
Well,
Matt, why don't you help her? Just because you have the extra person, may as well.
watch the knife there. Okay.
You don't have to do everything yourself.
Well, I
trying to
make
cut
it
that
easy
in half
because they do
anyway.
it all day, every
And
day.
lop it.
So
Does that? You could just lop that there, I guess, or you could just yank it out.
And then, but isn't it going to need to be cut in half
Nope,
anyway?
we're gonna pull
there's
this
still
bone out.
there's still a test over here.
Here, we're gonna. Okay, so here's something very interesting. I don't know if we'll get it or not.
But don't you want to cut it in half to get it?
Well, we could try from here.
We did last year. I remember getting that last year.
Well,
We
we
had
cut it
on
in half.
film,
Sometimes it's
too.
just mushy.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to keep your backbone
For a soup bone.
for a soup bone, this thing right here,
The spinal cord.
the spinal cord has to come out. Does anybody have the needle nose?
Michelle last year was able to pull it right out. I remember she had needle nose pliers, right?
I guess I'll try. Sometimes I just mess it
Get
up.
the sides. Get to the side. Get in as far as you can. Squeeze on the side.
She did.
It's not easy. Sometimes you just give up, but
There's one over here you can try, Tom. The one on...
no, you do it, and I was gonna tag team. Like, you go in, and then when you get it out, I'll pull with those ones.
It's just all soupy.
It's just soupy. Well,
Here,
we have
Mom.
one more to try
You
with.
hold that. We'll try.
Michelle's working on that. Leia's over here working on this.
That, you guys want to see this loin? Okay.
Now butchers always leave a little fat on there. Looks like you do it all for that piece
There we
right
go.
there. Oh, Michelle has success.
She did it!
Oh,
So that can be
It's
a
really
soup
gross.
bone. It's really gross. So this can be a soup bone now. We'll wrap it because there's a lot of meat on here still. So Michelle will wrap that up. Now, here is a prized possession right here. Look at that.
Wow.
beautiful.
Well, you're not gonna leave it one whole piece like that, are you? Yeah.
We're not going to eat.
Okay. Oh, I thought
this
maybe
would be like
smaller
2
pieces.
meals. This would be like 2 meals. I don't know if Michelle takes the loin or she chops them up or she just keeps it whole as a loin.
I might make some chops.
Put it
out
in the
of
bowl
that
for
one.
now, right?
This ain't
Oh.
off first.
Ham hocks.
The ham hocks off first. Do you want a knife?
Here, I'm gonna. Where's your? Take the thing off that green one, Matt. I know you don't like the little handle on there. Well, who's got the front end? No, you. For you, you can do that with that one. I know that way you don't break the tip of the. I have the back of the pig. I have to look because it's different. The back of the pig. Matt's
This
got
is
the
his
harder
big
one.
old fat back. What do they call
The
that?
back
Like
leg,
that.
the joint is up higher in. That's why I was trying to orientate myself to where I'm at on the pig, because that joint is up in here somewhere. So again, I do this the same way I would do a chicken. Just start feeling around for that joint. Actually,
That was a good view, Matt.
you're gonna just cut the skin off to start with. Now, one of our viewers is a butcher.
Oh, really?
I don't want to hear the commentary, man.
Oh, no, no,
I'm terrified.
no.
I mean, I don't want somebody to be like judging how we do this. I would do it better. I know. This is our. Think about
And
this.
we say the whole time, be careful.
Right.
Don't do this unless you watch a lot of experts.
I want to say we've probably done over 10 pigs over the years, at least.
Which isn't a lot of experience if you're talking about a viewer that does this every day.
Exactly.
He has experience. I'm sure his
Right.
first few weren't that beautiful.
Well, Mark Baker, they've set up a whole butcher thing on site.
This, the one that Matt's doing, I think is the hardest joint on the whole pig, in my humble opinion. It's got a C shape, and then after that C-shaped joint, it goes up 2 extra inches into the pig. And I usually just give up and use the loppers once I get. I'm serious. It's really hard to do.
Which you can do. It's not really giving up.
You take advantage of your equipment.
Yeah. That sounded like it did it.
Success.
You just have some meat in there, I think, to cut away. Oh!
It's still the skin
Some
on it.
things can be cut
It still has the
off.
skin on it, though. It's fine. A little
What are we
water,
wrapping?
cut the
What are
skin
we-
off.
What are we wrapping?
Oh, I'm wrapping that where I pulled the spinal cord out, that backbone. I'm just wrapping that up as a soup bone. You'll need a big pot for it, but there's a lot of meat on there, and so we try not to waste anything here at God's Little Acre with our pigs. So our hanging weight and what we actually process is not that far off.
Yeah.
Only because we save so much. The only bits that we really get rid of are the skin, some of the bad pieces, and one, two. All right. What else? And the trotters. Right.
And we don't always use the head.
Well, I mean the hanging weight. Like when you hang it, and it's been, you know, and then I just write on here, soup bone. I already know what this is just by its shape, so I don't need to write out what kind it is. It was 2.8, and then again with my code S3212021, and we're ready to go. And then
So Matt's over there taking the skin off his ham hock.
Yeah, because we like to, we just do the same thing for our ham hock as we do for our bacon. And then we smoke it, and then we put it in soup. It turns out fantastic.
do you want this as a loin or mini chops?
That's totally up to you. You're the gal.
Well,
These 2 pieces in here look great.
yeah, those are from, now we already saved out 3 other giant loins this size. Well, the Gracie's was even bigger. So, I'm probably going to just cut this into many, pork chops. And I label them, this is how I'll just do one section of packaged, chops here. Now, because these are smaller, that one kind of ripped apart, but that's okay. Because these are smaller, I'm going to put more in there for, I might do a dish of rice and cream of mushroom soup that we make from scratch now. But you can use Campbell's cream of mushroom soup and some sauteed celery and onions and garlic, and just layer these all on top. I did that the other day and it was really good.
Okay, so if you want to come over here, this is a very interesting piece of meat. Now, every pig is different, so you kind of have to be like an artist. What do you see? What do you see when you see this? So I see on the top here some good meat that could still be used into some sausages. So I'm going to try to just kind of peel some of this back. It's not going to matter too much for me because what am I going to do with the rest of it? We make a lot of bacon because these are lard pigs. We just make a lot of bacon out of it. And a lot of our bacon, maybe you could call it a little bit of Canadian bacon because we like to have some meat with our bacon. But I'm going to take some of this meat out off the top and it's going to go in our sausage. But if you look here, these layers here, you're going to see those are some pretty nice bacon layers. So this meat is just going to be kind of, this is like not standard pig. So how do you butcher this? Now you watch the videos and like that's not my pig, right? I open my pig up and it's not the same thing. And my bacon is not going to be uniform, but that's okay because you don't need to put on a uniform to eat bacon. So this is a team sport, man.
But also, old-fashioned way, all this fat you see, they use that for lanterns.
They did, and I actually am, when I have like my wonderful free time, there's a recipe to make 5 to 3 beeswax to lard candles. So I think that's gonna be fun.
And that also can be turned into soap, hand lotion, body lotion.
So Kansas is gonna do this, and he's gonna cut the skin off the bottom, and then he'll cut it like that, and then that will be,
Can you turn it over so we can see the skin on the bottom?
yeah,
Matt will cut that off.
yeah, that'll be bacon. And then this is always an interesting thing for me because
This is towards the front of the
there's a
animal.
bone in here, right? And I'm always like, okay,
Paddle bone or hip bone?
we're gonna find the bones and we're gonna feel for them and we're gonna try to get the meat off. I like to cut off some of this extras. 'cause I don't like the outside. Sometimes it's scald or
Most of it
Scrape,
won't go
it's
wasted if it
this
has
blank?
meat.
no. That's just on the top of here. So I was gonna either
Looks like you
sausage.
can
or
make-
Sausage that.
Yeah. So, so we're gonna feel around here for the bone, and we're gonna try to get as much. This is, I think they call this the H bone. I'm not sure. Mom's gonna come behind me. You can see this flat paddle something. This paddle bone here, and you just kind of like want to follow your knife. Or I want to. I don't know about everybody else, but this is what the one guy did in the video. So again, like with the ribs, I'm just feeling around to where the bone is, and the meat probably should be closer to the bone here, so my meat is not so much like pork choppy slivers, but hey, that's the best we can do around here. Because your best just isn't good enough. It is, because Kansas says it's just food. And we eat it, and it tastes good, so.
It tastes delicious.
Yeah. So we're gonna go around.
When I did this on the last side, I just cut through some of the meat just to be able to get there.
Oh, well, sometimes I try to like play, ooh, mystery, do, and cut around. This is called deboning the ham,
For that.
right? And if you can debone it, then you can do different things with it. Some people keep it in.
got a sausage bucket?
We don't.
Yes,
keep
make
ours
that.
in.
Here's your sausage bucket.
And the buckets you have around the table, these are all food grade buckets.
They are all now got sanitized
They've been
at the start of the
cleaned
day.
up.
Clean, nice, leaves oil.
So.
Oh, that looks like a good piece of meat too.
I opened her up. We're connected here. Here's my bone. Here's my other bone. And we're out. Now this thing is gonna make 2
Soup bones.
soup bones, but not before
You get your sausage meat.
some of this, comes off.
I don't know if it's showing up on that camera just how dark
Our
this
red.
meat is.
Oh yeah,
like
I can
the-
see. I think
It
it's
is
pretty dark.
so dark. Pork is not normally this dark. Even the lightest cuts of our, that loin.
And so, what does she
Because
mean?
in between a pork
So,
and a
what she's
beef.
saying when she says that with this dark meat is that when we grill it, you can't really tell the difference between. Don't ever hold your knife like that. You can't really tell the difference between
this and steak.
this and steak.
I can attest to that.
And we're always just trying to find
Joints.
joints and marrow. Okay.
Nuts.
Kind of
Soup bone.
meaty soup bone, but people want meat in their soup, so.
Right.
These look like they could be flanks or something.
They could, but they're going to go in the sausage. It's I'll tell you what. If every part of your carcass is a Ferrari, you know what? Sometimes it has to do the work of a
Ferrari
truck.
sausage.
Okay? Meaning you can't. This is a lot of meat on this. That's all right. I'll put meaty out. You'll watch how I label this meaty soup bone. Every bit of this meat is, in my humble opinion, it's $20 a pound meat. I mean, it's really, really nice meat. And so the sausage that we make, people always rave about our sausage, and this is the reason why. Because the meat starts out so dark, so rich, so nutrient dense. And that has to do with the breed, and that has to do with the care that we give them as well, because they eat mostly produce that we get from a local produce store. And
We don't buy it.
We don't buy it. No, we do not feed our pigs store-bought produce. I'm probably going to wrap this one again because it's too bones thick. So let's get it in there. I'm not trying to be too particular, but I just like it when it comes together properly.
And like I was saying last night, it looks like a lot of work, but if you're only doing this twice a year, if once, so
I will literally
it's not a
label
lot of
this
work.
meaty soup bones.
But if you did this every day like a butcher, of course, you're going to be a lot faster, quicker at it. You're only doing it once a year.
Then our code for our date and the pig that it was. Get our weight. 2.5 pounds, so 2.9. And mark it down, and we're good to go. 1, 2.5.
So Matt, they keep saying giving you the for show sausage. Why? What are you doing here? Just smaller
We're just
pieces?
cutting them into small cubes, just so they can fit in the little machine to be ground up into sausage.
Sausage is for tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, so what are you going to do with this thing? You got some meat, you got some not so meat. Sausage would be the number one thing. However, I can make a few slices here.
Wow.
Some pretty
Looks like a nice
good-looking
pork chop.
pork chops, if I do say so myself. And I do think that a butcher might not give me a hard time on this.
Even with some fatties, good for a pork chop.
Yeah, normally I have this Michelle's bowl here. Michelle's the wrapper. Boom, 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 boom. And once I start to get to where it's like, not really meaty, then we're gonna sausage it. We have some Amish friends, and they just turn theirs into sausage with a really simple recipe. Just sage, salt, and pepper. And
Yeah, they
cayenne
turn a
pepper.
whole cow into ground beef, so it's personal preference. I mean, it's whatever you like to eat.
Yeah, whatever you like to eat, and whatever time.
However you want it.
And whatever, like, because ours are a fatty pig, and that's just what they are. So we're going to end up with a lot of sausage. Now, we've made some other kinds of sausages, like we put them in the casings.
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why couldn't you like trim that one into bacon? Get more of a meaty bacon.
You can, you could. We just, if we have that much meat, that's going to turn more into a ham than a bacon at that point. And you definitely could. But we just kind of, if we have a decent amount of meat, then we want to turn it into sausage.
We use sausage the most around here because we don't have a beef cow.
Right.
And
So we use it for our ground, like, so our tacos, our chilies, everything is ground something. So, because we don't have beef. This is our beef. So,
Well, we do order in, right, from our Amish. We get some beef from them.
well,
And then we're getting a half of a cow here shortly.
yeah.
But that we have not ordered a half of a cow in like 3 or 4 years.
Pause. Okay, there's a lot of little flanky type steaks here. If they're not too fatty, you can grill them, and they taste just like steak. If they're fatty, you'll catch your grill on fire, and don't ask Matt and I or Michelle how we know this. Yeah, it's not a good idea to grill pork, corn cooney on your grill. It's just not
Safe.
safe. So, but it really is tasty.
It's
to be
literally
grilled.
like putting gasoline on a fire in your grill.
Yeah, but if you pan cook it first and you get the fat away and you just kind of want to finish it real quick to give it a grill taste, that's kind of what we do to make it safer. All right, so a lot of this surface lard cut away. So what am I going to do now? This is where your ham would be.
That's where your ham is. Well, it's
This
not
is your
ham yet.
Yeah,
but-
this is where your ham is. And so we kind of want to go around. We're going to get this puppy out, but we've got a bone here. So we've got this. We have a backbone. We've got a loin under here. We got a lot going on. And so we've got to try to separate these puppies. And this is kind of one of the more, I don't know, fun things. We should say that. Let's just say fun. Getting the bones disconnected there. Since I'm deboning this ham, again, you're going to stick your knife in there. Kind of see it go around. And going around and in a crude manner. Because that's what we do around here. We're crude. Just kidding.
So she's not free yet. We want to free the bone. I'm like, there. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Sometimes, oh, no, I gotta go in this way just a little bit more. You realize your bone is a little bit more connected than you thought. She's coming. Okay, come here, lady. It's like giving birth. to a
That still
bone.
looks like a soup bone. Ham
Yeah.
soup bone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. What did you do today? Probably.
Oh, that looks like ham.
She
That's
is.
what you expect ham to look like.
Yeah. Expect ham to look like. So we've got our little...
It's just the coloring and everything. Is
Yeah, exactly. So this ham is not going to be a ham because we've done hams and we don't like their hams. So
Well, it's not that we don't like them. It's just ham is kind of a big deal, right? If you're gonna eat a ham, and we need to
Well,
eat
couldn't
our
that be
pork
a
every
good pork
day.
chop there?
it's going to be pork chops. That's what we like to do with our hams.
flank here.
We did, yeah, we
Yeah,
have
it's
a
kind of
flank.
fatty.
Well, that's why they wrap it in string.
Sometimes
If you
they do.
go to a butcher and they have one that's wrapped in string, now we know why.
Yeah.
To keep it whole, they must have messed it up when they were cutting it, so they didn't waste any. And they wrap a string around it. I've seen them. They wrap string around them and
She's
tie them
laughing
together.
at me.
I'm not.
We know why now. A lot of your pork comes wrapped in string. Oh, there's a good loin right there.
Yeah, it's another little loin.
Those are the more beefy loins.
Get her with the thick ones.
I don't the thick ones.
Yeah, here comes. It's like a ooh, it's like a good poop.
Oh my gosh. She's unbelievable. This is literally what we live with.
There's nothing better than a good poop.
No. There are other things in this life that are better than a good poop.
Well, a good poop's really great.
Wow.
Does she even wrap this? Okay. All right, so guys, we've got like several hunks of meat here. What are we gonna do with it? And this whole table is kind of like one big cutting board. So if you kind of wondered what we're doing here, so you look at it and you say, what do you want to be today? Because each pig grows their meat in like a different way. And so I'm looking at her and I'm like, do you want to be like long pork chops? Do you want to be like small pork chops? Like, what do you want to be like when you grow up? And I'm looking and I'm like, first of all, this is probably going to separate from his. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to separate these two. Separated at birth.
Good looking piece of meat there.
And these are going to separate right here. So these look like they belong in one family, and these look like they belong to another family. And that's how this works. And this better not go viral because whatever. Now you can ham that.
That looks
Right.
like one of those roasts to be a roast. You wrap it with string and make a
Exactly.
rump roast.
Or
It is the rump, right? So
this is-
there's your
yeah,
rump roast.
Yeah, so this part here would be like sausage or stir fry. And now we can start to cut a few
Steaks. Pork steaks.
steaks. Right?
Because it was a ham,
Yeah.
and we instead of having one big whole ham, you can make
Yeah.
pork steaks.
Exactly. And they should all be about the same thickness if you can, because then the chef likes that. And then the little bottom piece here is not going to do much good as far as that. So these, what I'm going to do is this is a really thick layer of back fat. So none of us know anything about that. We can't just like go in and surgically remove it. So instead we're just going to like make lard out of it. Cut off some good pieces so we don't waste them. And then that looks like a nice pretty, it's a smaller pork chop because our pigs are not the kind of pigs that normally do great big pork chops.
But they're looking very good, pork chops.
So we're
And Pork chops without a bone.
Yeah, they're pork chops without the bone.
Deboned.
And so we were able to, with these two girls, to make a lot of pork chops and a lot of meat that would mimic the store-bought meat. Coonies are not like store-bought pork. They're way more flavorful. They don't have a bad taste at all. People are wanting a gamey or whatever. No, they're just better. It's just really like gourmet better. Way better. I have people, like, I give my sausage away, and people are like, dude, that's the best sausage I've ever had in my entire life. Same thing with bacon. All right, wait.
I don't want to tell you how late it is, but it might be almost 2 a.m. It's a long night doing these pigs. But one of my favorite parts about doing the pig is getting the leaf lard so that Leah can make us excellent baked goods. Now, we use the lard for everything. We save this lard for the creme de la creme of what we would bake with, because it has such a mild flavor here. And I love this. It's just so cool to me, this webbing of how it's created. This is what you'll find around the kidneys and stuff. And so we make lard. We will be rendering lard, and we will be showing you how we do that. But this is a special, very special kind of lard that we make, and I wanted to just show it to you as I put it into the crock pot. Usually it's a lot bigger than that, but you can just see how neat that is. And
Making faces.
God's amazing design. Now, not all of it is that webbed shape, but I consider I don't know how many types of lard there are, but there's a lot. We only divide ours into two. What we refer to as leaf lard, and then everything else. So there's another good example of it. But this, you'll see, this is like a big hunk. This still comes from inside of the pig. So any of the fat that's on the inside of the body of the pig, and if I see anything that I don't like, I pull it out before it goes into the lard, is going to be a nice mild lard that doesn't taste or smell like pig when you're using it or cooking with it or whatever. So lots and lots of this beautiful, leafy, webby looking lard going into our crock pot, and this will sit overnight. We'll render it tomorrow, or well, we'll jar it up. It'll be rendering overnight. There's more. I usually bring it out in much more whole pieces, but this time apparently I didn't. I could just dump all this in here, but I wanted to show it to you as I pull it out, because I just think it's fascinating how God designed this, and it makes it easier on the farmer to differentiate what we're looking at. So that's that. It's late, and we'll finish this off later. It's always a good idea to clean this with a paper towel.
We are
first.
not going to send that down the drain.
Cannot go down the drain. We'll be cleaning out the sink and all that. But and then this is we've made dog treats out of these in the past. I think this is a spleen. I would be a better farmer if I knew what this was. There's 2 of them in each pig. But we've got, I love the little, I was kind of playing with them, the little kidney beans. You see why they call kidney beans, because they look like a kidney. And then these giant livers. What we will do, last year is the first time we did this. We started putting it in our sausage because the organ meats are so good for you. And we'll talk more about that later on in the video tomorrow. But we're going to put these in the freezer, and they'll be ready to go for sausage.
All right, Kansas, you want to tell us what you're doing?
Well, basically we've had all these little crock pots set up. We have leaf lard over here, and we had kidney leaf lard in that one. So you just basically cut the fat up into little pieces, little cubes. You throw it in there, and it just melts down, and you just
Oh, wow.
You just
Yeah, that
take
looks
some
good.
off the top, just pour it into your little container. You got ball jars, and you can reuse jars that you get free with tomato sauce in it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just fill them all the way up.
Oh, you had that one all ready to go, huh?
Yep. And it's,
Just set it to the left, maybe.
it's not wanting to fit.
You're good. So what's the white bucket for?
Well, that just keeps the drippings from going everywhere. 'Cause it's going to be kind of messy. Put the lid on, and probably need a
Because it's hot.
mitt or something to grab onto it. And we're out here in the garage, so we just put it on the cool floor for it to cool off. And we just have the regular lard station over here. Just put a little in there, have the fire really low, just stir it around, and when it gets going,
Tell them what the jack stands for.
well, it gets the flame under there kind of melts some of the support legs, so it, at times it's wanted to kind of fall down. So yeah, we have a couple jack stands holding that, and you just open the little valve here on the side, and it just, you can drain it out into ball jars or.
So this is one. These two are full that you got from that one.
Yep.
So you've got more lard there. That's what it looks like when I don't be in the shadow. Before it's rendered.
We try to keep the jars labeled. Obviously they're gonna get labeled after, but when they're in stations, then
Different types.
yeah, I mean all the jars over here are just regular, and those are leaf lard. And then when we have free time, we just put the labels on.
And then
Going.
this right here.
And that's just the cracklings, the little bits of meat that are in there that kind of settle in the bottom. Once it gets kind of liquefied, you take the liquidy part out, and then you're left with those.
And we can cook with
Yeah,
them, season
just-
them. Like they're like little bacon bits.
We just scoop them out.
Mm-hmm.
I just drop them in that little strainer there, and
Right.
all the moisture comes out. And just like the hard bits of meat are left.
Right. So you've got
So-
your man cave being with all the tools being utilized for the lard station.
Yep.
It looks good. It's going fast. There's a lot in that. You're ready to go. Like even get even more jars out of that. Am I right?
Yep.
It's like about ready to just keep going.
Yep. I'll really empty it out, and then obviously once we're done with leaf lard, then I can just put
The regular lard in.
lard in there and just let it sit for a
Right.
while.
All right. Cool. Thanks. Did you record that? All right, so this is our lard. Not all of them are in these half-gallon jars, but this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows deep.
This was Matt was doing in the garage.
And this is what Matt was doing in the garage.
It's at the end of the film.
And we've got these 3 shelves here of lard from this year. Here's a chicken. We did chickens. Did you guys see those videos? Isn't that nice? So we tried to move. We have a beef cow coming, and we were trying to make room for that. We're not sure that that's gonna what that's gonna work out.
It
but
has to be in this freezer.
it's gonna have to go in this freezer.
Because come over here. Da, 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 2 pigs.
Whoa.
So this is how Michelle does it.
Sorry, Mom.
This is a beautiful roast for pulled pork. She's labeled that one there. Ribs.
This entire drawer here is full of sausage. This is sausage. This is sausage. And we earlier at
deep,
the
too.
start of the show, we showed you our bacon.
They're all
We able
deep.
to pull that off. Just one.
And that's chitlins.
Yeah.
That's in
So-
a good container that you
Here we
can
go.
store permanently in that good container.
Well, it was just for temporary. So this is what the bacon is like after it has been smoked on the grill. We put it in vacuum seal bags. It lasts forever, literally, in these. And we have so many of these, and we're not even done.
I know.
We're still smoking.
I know.
I know.
I'm
trying to get the depth. Can you maybe pull something out so we can see the depth of how much meat you have?
Goes all the way back here, I guess. That's meat.
Well, I can.
And
pull
your
out- I
sausage
can-
is that
here's-
deep,
Meat
right?
behind
I can
here.
attempt to pull out the
No,
sausage
no, no,
drawer, but
that's
it's so
okay.
heavy. It's like, oh shoot, yeah.
That's
Oh, there's
like
blood
soup
on that.
bones.
Is it
That's
supposed to be
soup bones.
bleeding?
They leak a little bit. Yeah, we're
Oh,
just
they
putting
leak.
it out when
Okay.
we're done.
It's
so,
a
let me take picture.
self-defrosting, so when it's self-defrost, does
Yeah,
that
here, yeah. Wait.
probably happen?
So we hope that you guys have enjoyed this extensive process of from hoof to freezer and a freezer full of meat straight from heaven, from God. This is how God wants us to live. The fact that we have the ability to raise these animals is a privilege.
Yeah, we do.
And I'll tell you, eating it sure is a privilege too. So we love you guys. Thanks for joining us for this special episode.
You can farm.
You can farm. Bonus. Here, let's shut the freezer. These are our seeds started. Look at the pretty happy tomatoes and happy peppers and happy eggplants.
This is basil in here.
What's this?
Bachelor buttons.
What are the little ones here?
Portulaca. They're tiny little flowers.
Flowers.
We do lots of flowers. Flowers are fun. But we have more, the cold stuff is out in the greenhouse.
Lettuces.
And maybe we'll do a separate
And
video
cabbage.
on that
Cabbage.
to take you
Broccoli.
guys out there.
Broccoli.
Okay, again, bye from our farm to yours.
Okay, so we're opening up the chute for the first time in almost 2 years. You're not in it.
The animal's right next to me.
I know, but you're not in the shot. So we're trying to get him to go. Here we go. We had that one ran on the run. There he goes. This is great. I think he's a little suspicious. Like, what's going on? Where are you taking me?
Hey!
You gonna stop and smell the other ones? Here he goes. He's getting a little excited. He's got a little trot. Here he goes. Oh. Whoa. What do you think, Oliver? Oh, there's food up here. I don't know. Got a whole extra pen now. Mm-hmm. He's trying to find the weaknesses.
We got a lot of hay out here.
Yeah, well, the girls really liked hay.
Yeah, they got a lot.
This looks really good. This is over here.
Does he have food over there?
Today we make sausage. Are you ready? This is by far some of the best sausage I've ever eaten. If I'm not actually being biased. We use this recipe to make meatballs. Was it last night or the night before?
Mm-hmm.
It was to die for. I just was like, why? How am I so lucky to be eating this right now? It is that good. If you look at this does not look like pork, does it? Look at this. This is, we have some organ meats on top, but this is the meat. Does that look like pork? No, it looks like beef. We raise kunis. The other red meat. Now some of the meat is a little bit pinkish, like regular pork, but a lot of it is the color more akin to a beef. Isn't that crazy? All right, so my recipe calls for 5 pounds of boneless pork shoulder and 8 ounces of pork fat. I'm doubling this so that the recipe here and what I have here is about 11 pounds. Number 1 ingredient, rubbed sage. So this recipe calls for 7 tablespoons for 5.5 pounds. I go a little bit less on that, and I'm doubling this. So I'm gonna put in about, about 10. So 1, 2, and it's about, you can, 10, so it's about, it's probably equals 14 total. Then I'm gonna add in my garlic powder. So I'm gonna do a couple tablespoons of garlic powder here. Keeping. This recipe calls for 5 tablespoons of fresh. I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of. And then I'm gonna do pepper.
So you're not following the recipe, is that right? You're doing the Leah recipe?
I'm doing an ish. This is an ish. I don't have fresh garlic, so we use dry garlic.
Oh, I get it.
have
I
fresh
get it.
garlic.
So it calls for fresh garlic.
Yeah.
And we're not wasting our fresh garlic on the sausage.
Yeah, exactly. So this calls for 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to put in 6 of pepper.
Because you doubled the recipe?
Mm-hmm. Then we're going to do 1 to 2 tablespoons of red pepper flakes per the first recipe. So I've doubled it, so I'm going to put in about 3. Don't want to overwhelm my family.
Thank you.
I like everything hot. And then we're going to do the fennel. Some of my favorites. You can do 1.5 tablespoons. I'm going to do just 2 total of the fennel here. All right. And then your paprika. So
That's cayenne.
this is paprika. The same thing. All right. So this calls for 1 tablespoon. So we're going to put in 2. And then rosemary is optional, and I like the rosemary, and so I just kind of do about 1.5 tablespoons or so. Cayenne pepper. Cayenne, 1 to 2 teaspoons. We're gonna go little on the cayenne. Okay, so depending on how hot you like your sausage, I know that my family's not big on it, so if it calls for 1 to 2, we're gonna do 2 total.
Because you're doubling.
Yeah.
So you're just doing the 1 essentially.
Yeah. All right, and then it calls for 6 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. So I'm gonna put in, it doesn't need to be super sweet. So I'm using maple syrup. And yeah, I'm gonna eyeball 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do 6, about 6 tablespoons of maple syrup. And 6 tablespoons of, because you do work this hard, I don't want to put any just regular sugars. We want some natural sweeteners. But I'm going to eyeball what would be probably about 6, 4, 5, 6.
It doesn't look like 6.
It's ish.
Looks like
it doesn't have to
3.
be super sweet. All right. So here's your next job. Fun job. We're going to try to get this all together now in one beautiful masterpiece.
And we do it this way, why? As opposed to after it's ground.
Oh, because we're going to stuff it straight into the sausage case, the sausage bags, and this makes it, it works. That really doesn't. And when you break it apart, doing your, doing different steps each day, so we slaughter one day. Oh, shoot. We butcher one day. We sausage. We tried the sausage the next day, and then our sausage grinder, meat grinder, broke.
All right, so we should break here.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back when we run it through the machine.